Hey, good evening, everyone. And I know everybody was hoping I was going to wear a tux tonight. Sorry, I couldn't get one in time. So you're going to just have to deal with me in a sport jacket and a shirt that I don't normally wear. So welcome, one and all, to the best of 2021. I believe this is the 16th or 17th year that we've hosted this, and I believe it's probably the 23rd or 24th actual best of event and award ceremony that's been held. In the past, of course, they've not been as formal as this one. So for a brief history of how we got here and what the best of is all about. I mean, I guess before I even get started, good evening, everybody. Yeah, Tux t-shirt would have been good, Paul. Yep, lots. This is a big turnout to get this show started. I appreciate everybody tuning in right away. Sing the Canadian. No, I'm not going to do that. But yes, this is the Oscars of art. That's a great way to approach to call these events tonight, Nick. But so again, the history of this event. How do we get here? Many years ago, that before CAF came into existence, on this very day, 19 years ago, there was a site that was devoted to comic art. First galleries that were out there. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was supported and sponsored by the Comic Art L and a website called Longbox. And they had a gallery site for collectors that only allowed a collector to post 5 pieces of artwork into a gallery format. And, so it was good. I mean, back in the late 90s, wow, that was a pretty impressive thing to have. And we all appreciated it. And when they started doing this best of award process, again, you could only post 5 pieces of art to it. And so that's kind of the tradition for how we continue to only allow you to post 5 collected artworks into the competition as we have it today, even though there's 10 categories of artwork out there. But so it evolved from that. I think in the early days, people emailed in their votes and somebody tabulated them from Longbox. I don't know how they did it, but it worked. And I took over hosting it after about 2 or 3 years of CAF's existence, because at that time, I think CAF was replacing that site because we had unlimited gallery space for everyone. And it just made sense. We could program it and make it a little bit better. We stored the best of always inside of the Lowry, which still exists on CAF today. It's named after Bruce Lowry, who was a collector who passed away far too young many years ago. And you can read up about that on CAF in the Lowry. But so we kept the overall best of housed in there for a number of years and really didn't do anything to advance it until about 3 or 4 years ago when we integrated it into the CAF gallery system, such that we really could say you can only post artworks into this competition if you posted artworks or shared artworks on CAF in that calendar year. So it just kind of fine-tuned things and made the process so much simpler, I think, for everybody. And again, so many people in the chat. Brian's not going to be able to join me this evening, but he'll be in the chat. After we did a good job fixing the front end of the competition, we also fixed the voting from a couple of years ago. So I think everybody would say that we're in a very happy spot right now. And the competition is very simple to use, easy to vote. I mean, this year we had the most submissions that we've ever had, over 1,675 pieces, I believe, a little bit, just under 1,700 total. So that was an amazing turnout. I don't have the counts on how many people voted, but I know that it was well over 200, probably about 300 people cast votes in this year's competition, which I would believe, again, is another record. So very strong year for the hobby and for CAF. And, again, I'm really pleased with how things turned out this year. But so the future of the best of, I think, will always be a part of CAF. I think we're going to always keep it integrated with things and try to always advance it and advance the awards that we give out every year. There'll be a wrinkle that we do at the end of the ceremony for the 10 categories today, where we give out 3 awards that we wanted to, that Michaela and I had come up with. And so we're trying to expand this into something a little bit more broader to acknowledge more things in the hobby than just the collected artworks that we do every year. And I think that will make this competition a lot more fun, and will probably encourage more participation in the voting and process, and certainly as contributing to the content of what we add to the best of going forward. So that's where we're at. This is a celebration of the hobby. It's not about who has the biggest portfolio. For me, the best of has always just been this opportunity for us all to kind of relish in the collected work from the prior year, to appreciate art. And, once again, these pieces were added to CAF earlier in the year, and this gives us a second opportunity to say, wow, we really had a great year as a hobby. CAF had a great year displaying artwork. And, and while we're calling it the best of, it really is only the best of artwork that's shared on CAF. It's for those collectors who don't choose to share their artwork and their collections on CAF. It's strictly the best of work that that you all have shared on the site. And again, for 19 years of doing it, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that CAF is still relevant in the hobby today. It's a great honor for me to be able to feel that way and see that and know that we have a bright future ahead of us. So, with that in mind, I mean, as everybody knows, we decided to approach a few things differently this year. About a month and a half ago, Mikhail pitched the idea to me of doing some trophies. And so we created a trophy just for fun, something to remember really the last year by, which, included so many things like dueling dealers and all the fun memes and the things that we were doing there. So we created a trophy for the 10 category winners, and also the additional awards that we're going to have at the end of the ceremony. And so here it is. It's it's a little Thor hammer. As we know, I've dressed as Thor numerous times for memes and had fun with that. And so, this is, it'll be signed by me on the bottom, and we'll give these awards out to the 10 category winners and the other award winners, as we mentioned. But because of that, we also decided that this is probably the first year that we should take on a sponsor for the best of, because now it's going to cost me money every year to put on this event. And the more awards we hand out, the more trophies I'm going to have to make and the more costly this is going to become. So, I kept talking on the CAF update for the last few weeks about who, hopefully somebody will approach me about wanting to, sponsor the event in some way. And fortunately for me, Jim Halperin from Heritage Auctions and I talked, and Jim was very open to doing it. As everybody knows, Jim has participated in the best of off and on throughout the years. So he's probably won a category here or there in the past. And so, and I think it's very fitting that he is the first sponsor that we have for this event, because he was actually the first person who ever approached me about putting advertising on CAF. And while some of you might say that's a terrible thing, it really was the thing that actually helped propel CAF to its next level when people actually saw interest in the site beyond just it being a free gallery space. I mean, I can't imagine where I would be today with the site that costs thousands of dollars to host every month and not having any revenue to support that. So Heritage has always been a huge supporter of everything that I've done on CAF. And Jim in particular has always really appreciated the work that I've done and supported things. So I wish that, that Jim could be here tonight, but in his stead, Joe and Nadia Manarino are going to be on the channel with me to talk a little bit before we do any presentation. So Joe and Nadia, nice to see you.
Nice to be here.
Nice to be here.
Well, I'm glad you can make it. Now, I don't think I've seen you guys probably for 6 or 7 years. Like the last time might have been at a New York Comic Con. And so, and that's my fault for not getting out that often. But for you, you really need to get out in front of people. So what is the last couple of years working for Heritage? How has that been when, you don't have that presence and the opportunity to kind of get out there in front of the hobby and talk about your services?
Well, like everybody else, we didn't know what to expect, and we didn't know how things would go. We didn't know how people would be willing to let go of their material without us physically being there. But, as with everything with COVID, everybody adapted. We started this service where we would offer to send people an air float box, and then along with the FedEx tag. And once we got to see the material, online and images, and were confident it was there, then they could send it in. And we literally, went from $80 million in 2020 to $180 million last year. So it certainly hasn't stopped. As far as Nadia and I mean, we used to work by appointment in the New York office, and then we used to go out and see people. And of course, we enjoyed going to shows for decades.
Too many, but
now, we adapted, and believe it or not, we see people on a regular basis. A lot of people come here in New Jersey. They would prefer not to go to Manhattan. So they drop things off. And then if it's an exceptional collection or something that's not too far, we regularly travel. And people from Dallas travel all over the place. They don't have any qualms whatsoever.
Well, I mean, then that's good. So it's almost like business as usual at the end of the day. I mean, and I think we've all found that. We all found a way to work things out with the pandemic, at the end of the day. So I mean, so as far as the last year, I mean, you've been in this hobby for quite some time, both of you. So, I mean, do you feel? I mean, I've always felt that, looking at the last couple of years, that art's finally getting the accolades and the and it's realizing the prices that we've always known it was eventually going to get to. So when we look at these things as skyrocketing and everything in the hobby just burgeoning, with every upcoming auction and sale that we see, for me, I think this is just really what we should have expected to see. Eventually, it's here now, and whether it was the pandemic that brought it on or not, I mean, your experience in the hobby, which, I mean, it really is more than most. I mean, how do you view where we're at today after the last, say, 18 months of historic sales that we've been able to see?
No, go right ahead.
In our opinion, the sales have gone up because of many things. I mean, at the beginning of COVID, I think people just had more time to spend in front of their computer. They were also a little bummed out about themselves. They wanted to do something that made them feel good. And so they spent more time. We saw that the views, the participation, the number of registrants went up enormously. It went almost immediately, went up 25 to 30%. So when you have that kind of participation, and then people see how transparent it is, and then you have the archives, people feel confident in spending money. And the good news, bad news is maybe wealth has not been exactly distributed as we all would like it, or as evenly as we'd like. But the truth is, people who are doing okay are doing even better. And people who, they have more value in their homes, they have more value in their collectibles, and all of that creates momentum. So you take that and then you add to it that we've basically moved into the next generation where the millennials have, X number of millennials have become very successful, and they're buying the things that makes them feel good. So now we went from golden age to silver age to bronze age, and the modern art is also following. I mean, who would ever think that we'd see some of the prices we have? That's on from the era where nothing was thrown away. I mean, all of that issue of scarcity is gone. So you're really seeing even it's almost a redemption, because you're seeing every single page of art of a particular artist still exists, and yet their prices are going exponentially higher.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I agree with all of that. It's an exciting time to finally, to be in this position where I think that, again, I feel like the hobby's finally getting the recognition that, I've always felt it deserved. And, we've all of us have loved, original art for so long, but it's just, it's finally getting its due. I mean, when you can have that record-setting sale on the Zec page and pretty much every media outlet in the country promotes it, exactly. It's just surprising. And, and again, it's about time at the end of the day. I mean, it takes things like that to gain traction and to gain recognition, for the hobby. And I think that, all the rising prices, I mean, it's not like everything, I mean, everything is going up, but, a record sale like that it's surprising. It's really an outlier on things. It's not really the norm. I mean, but still the last year and a half, I mean, we've seen all the prime artwork go up 50, 60, 70%. And it's continuing that with every signature auction that's out there, or other event style auction that we're seeing, out there. We're always seeing really high prices, and the prices continue to grow. So, I mean, like a lot of collectors, I've been priced out of things that I wish I could own. But that's just kind of part of it. As a collector, you end up having to look for other things, the other artworks you can collect, discover other artists. Point yourself in other directions, so you can enjoy the hobby as much as you did when you could afford those choice pieces, right? And they're out there. I mean,
hey, listen, we have tons. We've been collecting for 50 years, and that's conservative. But people always ask me what's the best collecting advice, and I always say diversity. The great thing about our hobby is, nothing has ever been. It's never been that everything is hot at one time, especially. I mean, even breaking it down to, say, comic books, just to remove it. I mean, it wasn't that Silver Age, Golden Age, Timely's, Fawcett's, Dell's, everything hot at one time. No, this got hotter, that got. So you dip in into the areas that are not hot now, and later on when they get hot, you're the lucky one that collected it at the time,
Right.
And so that's the great thing, is that there's no shortage of places to go, and I think that's what adds to our hobby. There is supply now, where at one time that was kind of scarce.
Right. I mean, that's one of the, big things that I wanted to talk about tonight, was just the idea that, because of these record sales that are happening, it's brought more artwork to the market.
Absolutely.
So, which is really, which has made us as collectors, have better collections, and, it all kind of feeds on itself. I mean, you see a few good sales, it brings out those artworks, again, it feeds back into the collections. Those collectors who are buying have to sell pieces in order to fund these new purchases, so more good artwork comes out onto the market. I mean, it really is, a boon to us all as collectors and sellers to have to be in a position like this, because it's really is a win-win for us all. And as long as you're always happy with your collection, you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
That's right.
and as real collectors, and those of you that are there who know us know that we've always been hardcore collectors. One thing though is still true when it comes to the art industry, whether it be fine art or any type of collectible, which is prices are never pushed up from the bottom. It's not that a $300 item sells for $500 and it reshapes that artist, that title, or whatever. It's when something sells for $3.6 million and we're supposed to sell for this, that pulls everything else up. And that's always been the case, and that's where we are. Now, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? That depends on your perspective. At some point, it almost becomes monopoly money. If you spent $1,000 and your item is now worth $10,000 and you want to buy something that cost $5,000, well,
You can.
you can. And that's what it's about.
Well, Jim Halperin has a very favorite saying, and it is that a rising tide lifts all boats. If we've heard that once, we've heard it a million times over the past 7 years we've been here. He's right. It just, like you said, Bill, it feeds on itself and it just keeps on going. And that's a reassuring thing for the people in the hobby that is
there's
continuing.
Liquidity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at these kind of prices, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You always have to have one eye on value. So you have to be confident that there's some liquidity behind what you're doing in case you ever need to get out also.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Albert Moy's in the chat, and he's giving you a hard time, Joe. He says, Nadia, you look
always.
he says, Nadia, you look great, but Joe, you look really old. Good old Albert.
We're all together.
Speaking of somebody who's getting old himself.
We're all old together.
Let me just say this in all sincerity. The bad part about COVID is I don't get to see my friends. The good part is I don't get to see Albert.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Albert, you gonna take that?
Now I do miss Jamie.
Yeah.
Saint Jamie is missed, and if she's there, please give
Jamie.
her a hug from me.
Well, I still get to see Albert. Albert helps us out on the Heritage recap shows that we do, and so I get to see Albert at least every other month. And he's starting to look a little, gray around the ears a little bit himself, so he doesn't have a lot of room to talk. But so I don't want to keep you guys too long. Maybe what we should do sometime is have a chat dedicated to you both, like where we can talk a little bit about the hobby or something. I mean, whatever you like. I mean, if you guys ever have the time, I'd love to.
Sure.
Or maybe I've done a few previews with Heritage in the past, and I haven't done one in a while. Maybe at one of the future signature auctions that you guys are hosting, we could do a preview of some of the select pieces that are in that auction. And if you're game for that, I'd love to do that with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
I mean, there's always stuff
to talk about
coming in, and there's always some great stories behind where material comes from and everything else, and that's always great.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, those are the kind of backstories that you wouldn't get if we didn't, have a way. I mean, they come out in some of the PR pieces and whatnot, but there's a lot more pieces that have stories too, not just the the really cool collections that come in that have a really nice historical background to them. There's,
I mean, just today, we got a Frazetta painting, new to the market, right from the family. We got a $500,000 Detective Comics. We got What was the other 500?
Corbin.
Oh yeah, we got Richard, the Corbin estate. We got the first ever piece from them. It's the oil painting for heavy metal, with down on it. Yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking. That's amazing.
An iconic piece.
Yeah.
All of that today, and that's Nadia. That's what Nadia got. I got about a dozen consignments today. So we've been inundated because it's it's deadline time.
Yeah.
But I mean, from all over the world. We got a collection coming in from Europe for $2.5 million that has the biggest collection of Winsor McKay and then British comic art that I've ever seen. You know, everything that you could imagine.
Be on the lookout for that. It'll be very exciting.
And
I can't wait to see that.
It's in transit right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna, See, that's the thing, and there's so many great things to look forward to. That there's no end in sight with great artworks coming on to the market in the next 6 to 8 months. I mean, it's thrilling, honestly. I mean, I'm loving every minute of it. But I'm getting ribbed. Bill's got a suit jacket on, definitely on occasion. Yes, exactly. You won't see me doing that, and I'm standing too. Everybody, I actually decided not to sit so that my posture would be good tonight as well.
Yes, we have to sit up.
Exactly. No, I find myself slouching too much sitting in front of the computer all day. But so why don't the thing is, I wanted to do one awards presentation with you while I had you here as to kick off the show tonight. And just so everybody knows, I kind of mixed everything up, the categories a little bit. They're not in the same order that they were presented on the site. And at the end of the show, I will put the link in the chat for everybody to actually see the results. The results are all in, but I didn't want you to see it before we got a chance to present them here for everybody. So that's keep it a little bit of a surprise. So, and the format's going to be a little bit different. I should have music playing when these little video clips are going, but I opted not to, so I could talk over the video. But so the first category in the best of tonight that we're going to show off will be an award, will be the interior page category, which was one of the bigger categories of artwork submitted this year. Like I said, there were 1,675 pieces submitted. 351 of those were submitted to the interior page category. So it's a really difficult category to win because, as you know, everybody can only cast 5 votes, and it's not like you're picking your favorites 1 through 5. You're just when a person votes, so you can just cast 5 votes for your 5 favorite pieces. And so essentially, it's just like a like any other vote tally. It's the total number that gets you there. So this one it's tough because at the end of the day, it dilutes it. There's no piece out there that's going to have 100 votes because there's just so many votes that can be cast, and everybody's tastes are very different. And again, thank you, Chris, for that. So with the interior page category, what we're going to do is I'm going to present that, and this will be fun. So it only takes about 15 seconds to show the video clip, but these pieces that were selected here are some of my favorites, and I hope some of your favorites as well. So Dino Mauricio collected this piece. This is Dave Gibbons' Watchmen, number 6, page 21, one of the top 5 vote getters in the interior page category this year. Next up, this is in Felix Liu's collection. This is from Sin City, The Hard Goodbye, page 42, from 1991, Frank Miller art, of course. And our third piece to show off is in Dinesh Shamdasani's collection. This is from Daredevil number 1, art by Bill Everett from 1964, first appearance of Daredevil. And here we have another Frank Miller Sin City piece. This is from Big Fat Kill number 3 from 1994 in the collection of GC. And finally, we've got this great Steve Ditko Amazing Spider-Man number 8 page from 1964 as well from Imran A's collection. And if I had a drum roll or something, I guess I'd be playing that right now because we can say, and the winner is, in the interior page category from 351 artworks, the Sin City, The Hard Goodbye, collected by Felix Liu. Congratulations, Felix. I mean, this is Felix, I think, has won a category once or twice in the last 15, 20 years, but that was an amazing piece. I know that it got so many comments. I mean, that was one of, for me, one of the coolest pieces shown. And I know that it was a piece that Frank, probably reluctantly let go of. And I know that Felix had nice things to say about Jason and Frank for the opportunity to purchase that artwork. So yeah, and you figure those are pieces coming out from dealers. It's just an amazing time in the hobby where such great artwork is able to make it to the market. And, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that was, for those 5 pieces, any one of them could have won.
Congratulations.
Yeah, great piece.
Yep. I don't think Felix is here tonight.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much more of that, but listen, let's keep talking. Maybe there's some show that we can do in the future. I would love to have you both on.
Yeah.
And
you could solicit feedback and then exclude any comments from
Albert.
And we'll
I can work that out.
We'll be happy to consider anything. Don't worry.
Thank you for everything, Bill. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, and thank you so much. And again, thank you to Heritage for sponsoring tonight's event. It really meant a lot to me, and I appreciate it. And again, we'll be talking soon.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right, fantastic. So I did, I'm not going to keep things going too long in between categories, but again, this was a really tight category. Really, a lot of very close votes on that one. And the pieces that were right behind it were within 5 or 10 votes as well. So when you get to see the votes for the interior page category, it's pretty impressive, the works that didn't make it. Again, anything in the top 50 selected artworks and voted on artworks from that category are going to impress you. You're as a collector, you're going to wish that any of those pieces were in your collection. So congratulations to Felix, but also to everyone else who got a piece in the top 5. So Mikhail says, I think I voted for 4 of those. Exactly. This was it was a tough category, I believe, for anyone to win. But again, Felix's piece definitely stood out. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. So like Brett says, all 5 pieces were great, and we're going to continue to see that throughout the presentation tonight. But I'm on my own now. I was thinking that Brian was going to be able to join me, but Brian is busy working, so I'm going to handle the next 9 categories on my own. So it won't be that hard. But yeah, thank you, Mark. I thought we would try things a little bit different. I think a little bit of music might have helped a little bit, but next year there's always room to improve upon these things. So as I said, I've mixed up. Kevin, thank you. Yep, another great year of entertainment. I appreciate it, Kevin. And there are many more years of that to come. I can assure you of that. So as I said, mixed up the categories. So next category that we are going to be giving out the award for is in the Pinups, Illustration, and Trading Cards category. Now that category had 134 pieces submitted to it and had one outstanding victor by a long shot. And when you see these 5 pieces, you may know which one it is. You can shout it out if you like. But I hate to say it, but I actually had a piece of art in this category that is selected. So it's almost like I should be excluded from this. But for the first time, as everybody knows, I've really gotten back into collecting this year. So I'm going to take this one opportunity and just this year and put those pieces in there and enjoy it. But I have a piece in the top 5, so let's go ahead and show off the top 5 pieces, vote getters in the Pinups, Illustrations, and Trading Cards category. And beginning with mine, my son put this together. I don't know why he did that, but this is, of course, the Bizarre Adventures 27 illustration that is from 1981 by Dave Cockrum. Next up is this amazing Batman overlooking Gotham City piece by Bruce Timm in full color in the collection of Matt E. And congratulations to Joseph Melchior on this piece, Camelot 3000 Who's Who by Brian Bolland. Amazing piece. Congratulations to Joseph on that pickup. And this is the original poster art featuring Wolverine, of course, by Sam Keith from 1991. And it was in the collection of Matt E. as well. And then we have James Halperin having this piece here. It's the advanced promo cover art for X-Men Volume 2, Number 1, and art by Jim Lee. And if I could do the drum roll, I'd be doing it. I need Kavi here. I need some music. The winner of this particular category is, of course, the Sam Keith from 1991 in the collection of Matt E. Congratulations, Matt. You had 2 of the top 5 vote getters, as far as the artwork collected in 2021 in this category. And I mean, that one, deservedly so, was the victor by a landslide. I don't think the next closest piece had half as many votes. So, but all were great. So congratulations to Matt E. on that well-deserved award. And again, you actually will get an award, as I've stated right here. You get your Thor hammer. You are worthy, Matt E. So yeah, there were a lot of good ones. So okay, Matt Miller says he voted on 2 out of 5. That's the challenge, right? When we're looking back on these, I think it's an interesting thing to think about. I mean, and a way for me to maybe even change the way the results pages are laid out, because it might be cool to kind of see in the when I show you all, like in that case 134 artworks in the order that they were voted on, if you did cast votes, it could highlight the pieces that you voted on. So I don't know. I mean, I think that, I want to make this thing more fun and get more participation on the voting side. And so the more ways we can find ways to make it interesting and enlightening and just kind of see where your tastes in the hobby sit compared to other collectors, I think would keep making it very fun. And thank you, Harry, for that super chat. Happy anniversary indeed. 19 years, $19. How appropriate. And yeah, a lot of people like the Camelot piece. Joseph has an incredible collection. I've been fortunate enough to see a few pieces in it, and he's a great guy. He's been a good friend, and and he's been in the hobby for a lot longer than I have. He really has an amazing collection. So I wish I could give a prize for all the most votes in the top 5, Matt. I mean, we'll start small. Let's start small, and we'll kind of move this along every year as it goes by. I mean, that's I've got to take small steps, even though we've been doing this for 16 years. I know you'd think I'd be doing a little bit better, but that is true. As Mikhail said, salt of the earth, Melchior. All right. So next category, one that did not get a wealth of submissions to, is the strip art category. It had 48 artworks submitted to it, but I can tell you the competition in this category was fierce. There were of the top 5, the top 3 vote getters basically were within 3 votes. So it was anybody's game, and I think that was the category I mentioned last night that I was hoping we would get some more votes in, because either I had a tie or it was just too close to call. So at least at this point, we were able to nail it down who was the victor in the strip art category. So let me go ahead and show that one off here, and here we go. So first up is this Hal Foster Prince Valiant. It's from 1939, and it's in the collection of Tom Coker, and that one is a beauty. So Jeff Singh also made the list again with a Prince Valiant Sunday by Foster, and this one is from 1939 as well. Sensing a theme there. And then we've got this Charles Schultz Sunday in the collection of Greg Starr. And this is published in 1959. It's a fantastic piece. Congratulations to Greg on that. And Ron Lim's piece. This is from 1958. It's a great gag on that strip. Congratulations to Ron on being in the top 5. And finally, Chris K. This is Hal Foster again. So we've got 3 Hal Fosters. This one is from 1944, and then 2 Charles Schultz. So the winner in the strip art category for the best of 2021 is a Hal Foster. And as you can see, that was a little glitch in the confetti matrix there. But congratulations to Chris K. This is a phenomenal piece. And, I've never been a collector of that period, but if I could get a great example, that would be it, right? I mean, so congratulations to Chris on that pickup. And, again, winning the best of 2021 strip category for this year. Yeah. Foster Valiant. So, yeah, I completely agree. And Ron, congratulations for being in the top 5. Tony says he knew it was going to be a Foster. Yep. I mean, it's tough, right? The Hal Fosters have always, I think they've always really performed well, as have the Schultz. I think year in and year out, I mean, we're always going to see work by Hal or Charles as being in the top 5, probably even in the top 10, right, at the end of the day. So, right. And as Stephen Nam just mentioned, the work in either of those strips is timeless. So, yep, congratulations, one and all for that. And, and that's I think that's probably about average in the strip category, maybe even higher. I'd have to go back and look at last year, but 48 pieces, there's a lot more strip art added to CAF every year. So, when I look at the works that are submitted, to me, this is what you feel is the best of you've submitted out there to CAF in that calendar year, right? People shouldn't feel reluctant to want to enter the best of just because, you're not going to beat a Bolland piece or a Wrightson piece or or that sort of thing. This is all about, again, celebrating the hobby. So I would encourage everybody, give me a crankshaft, piece of strip art as part of your best of, if you feel that's one of your best pieces that you collected last year. We all should be putting in our 5 pieces every year. And, if we do, I think it'll make the competition a lot more fun. We've expanded the voting time to 3 weeks, so it gives everybody a lot of time to look over the artwork. So the more the merrier, right? So again, congratulations to Chris on that one. And yeah, ball and strips. All right. Yes, they are very rare. I was talking in general about categories there, Mikkel. So the next category actually even got a few submissions, fewer than that, and that was the media artwork, music, TV, and movie category. 33 artworks were submitted to that, and I kind of understand why that one has a bit, a low figure. But again, I know that there are more pieces added to CAF that could fit into that genre. So we got to kind of spread the love around here. But let's take a look at the top 5 vote getters in the media artwork competition. And first up, Dino Mauricio. This was the cover to Movie Star News. Of course, Betty Page as the model, and the artwork is done by Dave Stevens from 1990. Next up, this is posted by Rabid Ferret, and it's Back to the Future Part 3 by Drew Struzan, painted in 1990 as well. Next up, congratulations, Kavi, on this sublime $5 at the door piece by Jim Mafood. Beautiful piece. I know we talked about it. It's it's a favorite of many collectors. Next up, we have a piece by Josh Kirby in the collection of Imran A. This is Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. This was painted in 1980 as concept artwork. And finally, another Drew Struzan piece, the Muppets Christmas Carol from 1992 in the collection of Monty B. All fantastic pieces here. All deserve to win, but only one can win. And the winner in this category is Dave Stevens' Betty Page, Movie Star News cover in the collection of Dino Mauricio. Congratulations, Dino. You have won an award right here after the handles are all painted. So congratulations to Dino. All right. And I need a crowd in here. We need like an audience clapping. I know you guys are clapping out there while you're watching the show tonight. And that one was a really fantastic pickup. It got a lot of attention on CAF when it was posted. I mean, who doesn't want to have a vintage piece of Dave Stevens art in their collection? So yeah, very, very deserving of the award, and congratulations, Dino, and also everybody else who had a horse in that race in the top 5. All pieces were very, very deserving. So yes, congratulations. And yeah, there's a hand clap. There we go. Everybody's hand clapping now. Very good. Very good. So, but again, I think it's a category that gets overlooked a lot because, we don't have a lot of illustration art, like that being posted to CAF regularly. But I do think that, it needs more attention. So hopefully next year we'll get more than 33 entries into that category. And, I'm confident that we will, the more we promote this Best of Awards ceremony. So the next category, a few more pieces were added to it, but not as many as I think we normally would have had. The next category is the sketch covers and convention sketches cover category. And it is, I think we only had 95 pieces posted to this. And once again, I have to say that I did have a piece, juried in the top 5. But whether I won or not, you'll find out in a second. So let me go ahead and play that clip. So first off, Kavi, again, this wonderful Electra by Daniel Warren Johnson. It's just phenomenal. I mean, Daniel Warren Johnson made many memorable images this year, and that was one of them. This next piece is by Joe Quesada. It's in the collection of Dark Phoenix, and it's Scarlet Witch, of course. A really nice Quesada piece there. And next up, Jeffrey Dunn. Congratulations, Jeffrey. You're in the top 5 with this Brian Stelfreeze She-Hulk watercolor piece. Just amazing. And yep, here I am. At least he didn't make me first this time. This John Byrne Phoenix piece from probably the mid to late 80s. So thank you everyone for voting on a piece of mine again. That's the last one, I promise. And then finally, this piece in the collection of Fred Warner, a Batman sketch by Matt Wagner from 1989. And a pretty close vote count on this one, but the winner of the sketch covers and convention sketches category is this piece in the collection of Jeffrey Dunn, Brian Stelfreeze. I mean, Brian Stelfreeze can do no wrong when he is wielding watercolor paints, and this is one of my favorite convention style sketches and commission pieces that were done in the past year. I know we featured it on a CAF update, and congratulations, Jeffrey. That one very deservedly so for you to get honored this year. And again, this was a very close outcome here. I think when you get to see the final tallies, many pieces were lumped together. Jeffrey's was a little bit above them, but the competition for being in the top 5 was pretty incredible. So yep, everybody is high-fiving Jeff there. Yeah, he definitely earned. Ilya, green with envy, absolutely. What a pickup. So yep, fantastic. So yep, and I completely agree, Marcus. So Stelfreeze is at the top of his game. I mean, he's an amazing. I've never owned a piece by Brian, and that should be criminal, shouldn't it? So very deserved. So and I think I stated at the beginning of this. I mean, like I said, we're celebrating the hobby as collectors, but this is also a celebration of the artists who've made the work that we're able to purchase. And so, that's one of the areas that Kayla and I have talked about, trying to expand the show and as a presentations ceremony, handing out awards. We want to try to expand it beyond just the collected artwork and talk a little bit more about creators and whatnot. So, I mean, this is a perfect example of artists who are all actively putting work out there one way or another, especially Daniel Warren Johnson and Stelfreeze. And so, this is a celebration of them as creators as well. And we shouldn't ever overlook that, because we wouldn't have a hobby without these creators. So that's why I feel like the expansion of this award ceremony going forward, is really important. I do think that we can make it special and make it a part of the comics hobby, an important part of it, just like any of the other awards that happen at various conventions. So I'm really looking forward to the future of what we're doing here and where we're going to be able to take it. So once again, congratulations, Jeffrey. Well earned. And again, high five to Brian. If you got his email, you should email him and let him know that his artwork won that the competition this year in that category. So next up is this category actually did get a lot of work posted to it. It had 89 artworks posted to it. This is the non-comic cover pinups, illustration, and gaming art category. So 89 pieces, nothing too shabby, but there were, this will be a very interesting finish, that's for sure. So let me go ahead and show the 5 top voted on artworks this time. First up is in the collection of Monty B. This is painted by Carl Barks, of course, Scrooge McDuck, in oils, and this is entitled Menace Out of Myths from 1973. Next up, a Frazetta in the collection of Steve N. This was a character study for an unmade Dracula film. The title of the artwork is Mina, and just a lovely piece by Frank. And this is in Hans Kozencranius's collection from Tri-State, of course. This is by Mike Mignola from the 1996 WonderCon cover. Then another piece by Wrightson. This is in the collection of Julian Kay. This is a plate for the Stephen King graphic novel The Stand, and it was created in 1984. And then finally, good friend Doug Ellis. This is by Virgil Finlay, and it's entitled The Conditioned Captain. It's a science fiction pulp illustration, of course, as Finlay is known for. And the winner in this category, this wasn't the Mignola, not the Finlay, and it actually was a tie, believe it or not. Both Julian K. for the Bernie Wrightson piece and Stephen N. for the character study by Frazetta tied for top honors. Both got 52 votes. Next closest votes in that category was actually the Carl Barks that had 39. So they were, and I didn't even realize that. I think it's a category I didn't look at because I don't know. It wasn't something I was paying too close attention to. Or I would have asked people to submit more votes, but we've got a tie. So we will be giving out 2 first place trophies for that category to Julian and Steve, and very deserving, both of those pieces. So yes, as Michael points out, perfect choices. Right. I mean, sometimes the voters get it right, and all those pieces that we showed were fantastic. But again, that's part of the process. I've run that other competition with Infected by Art, and it really is always about the book gets curated by a jury, and it's the jury that really whose tastes and choices guide what the book ends up being. And that's really the same thing that happens here. We have a wide swath of collectors collecting modern art, collecting golden age artwork, and pretty much everything in between. So it really depends on the turnout of the voter to the artworks that we get chosen. But those were 2 perfect picks, and you cannot disagree that both of them did not deserve to win. Chris Nork says 2 collectors enter and 1 collector leaves. Well, that's typically the case, but not that time. So, all right, I can't keep track of the chat, so I apologize. I wish I could. I'm sure you're all having a very good time while I'm reading through the awards here, but I'm doing my best on that. And again, I'm glad everyone's enjoying this. This is again, it's a celebration. We have over 200 people watching the show right now, so this is the start of something big, and it's only going to get bigger every year. I promise you that. So this next category is one of the ones that is always like hotly contested, and it's the splash and title page category. This year we had 198 artworks submitted to it. So, I mean, everybody loves a good splash page or title page, of course. And, they're the things that when we do our art picks for CAF updates, usually, I tend to focus on those pieces just because, I don't know, I'm a sucker for a really nice splash page. And particularly, I like title pages. So what we've got here is a very good variety, but there was a hands down winner in this one. And again, it's back to, I challenge you to be able to guess what it was before the piece is shown at the end. But here we go. Top 5 vote getters in this category. First up, the collection of Ankur J. Congratulations, Ankur. This MCP page from issue 118 always just blows my mind, and I can't imagine how happy you must be to have that in your collection. Next up, from the collection of Bill J. This is a Frank Miller piece, of course, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, 10th anniversary edition. Again, phenomenal piece. Satari, hey, we're going to have you on the chat soon. This is Dave Cockrum from Giant Size X-Men number 1, page 29. Phenomenal piece. And next up, Fish Benz. Congratulations on this score this last year. It's the final page of the John Buscema Silver Surfer graphic novel. Just a beautiful piece. And last but not least, another piece from Joseph Melchior's collection, Wonder Woman number 1. Splash page, I think it was the final page of the book, 32, and that's, of course, by George Perez. All deserving of winning this incredible award, but only one can win. And the winner is the final page of the John Buscema Silver Surfer graphic novel in the collection of Fish Benz. Congratulations, Fish. Well deserved. I mean, I'm a huge Buscema fan, and I can't imagine what it must feel like to be able to look at that page every day. And wow. I mean, we've had the running, it's been said, wow, Fish has had a great year. And as Daryl says right there, boom, very deserved. Fish put a lot of effort and did a lot of legwork to really, level up his collection. And he did that in a massive way. Congratulations, Fish. I'm happy you were here live to see it happen. So that was, I'd take any page from that book, but you've got the best. So, yeah, congratulations. Absolutely well deserved. And to everybody the runners up. I mean, that is a category that when you look at the top 50 vote getters, there isn't a piece in there that you wouldn't want to have be a part of your collection. It's absolutely true. And again, almost 200 pieces submitted to it. Fish's piece definitely got the most votes by a long shot, as everybody will see. And I promise you, as soon as the 10 categories are over, I'll put a link into the chat so you can view all these results yourself as well. And I'll get it linked back in the menu so people who don't have time tonight can check it out tomorrow. But again, fantastic, and congratulations to Fish on that pickup. So we've got a few more categories to go here. Not too many, just 3. And the other category is the one we're doing next. And the other category, we're not going to talk about how we can make the best of better and how we need a DPS category. We're going to do that on Thursday night. Brian's going to be joining me, and we'll be talking about things about the best of, how we can make the art competition a little bit more streamlined and maybe refine the categories a little bit. And also Mikhail will be joining me on Thursday night as well, where we'll be talking about his side of the award ceremony tonight as well, and ways that we can improve and advance the overall competition. So the other category had 54 artworks submitted, and it's always been for me that it's like the throwaway category, because it's like, well, you can't fit your art into the other 9 categories, or you don't think it fits into the other 9, so you put it into the other. But so it's true that our categories do not properly encompass every possible art type that's out there, and it may mean that we need a few more categories at the end of the day. I don't know, but that's where I think we've kind of got to get a brain trust together and refine it and give it a try again next year. So In the other category, the top 5 pieces voted on, beginning with this Frank Frazetta piece in the collection of Sydney B. This was for the Science Fiction Book Club. It was an advertising piece done by Frank in 1970. Next up is a piece by J. Scott Campbell. It's the corner box artwork to Black Cat 1, and that is in the collection of Dean Abraham. Congratulations, Dean. And next up, this is in Rick W.'s collection. It is from 1972 by Bernie Wrightson. It is listed as a Swamp Thing #1 unfinished splash page, and it's beautiful. And next up in Jason K's collection, this Tetsuo illustration. It was a tribute to Otomo by Ian Bertram. Love Ian's work. That was picked up at a gallery show in New York this past year. And finally, a piece 1 on Dueling Dealers in Dino Mauricio's collection. Simone Bianchi. This piece is from 2012, and it's Marvel Sirens X-Men SDCC poster. All 5 worthy contenders here. Only one can remain standing at the end, and it is the piece in Rick W.'s collection, Swamp Thing #1 by Unfinished Splash by Bernie Wrightson from 1972. Just a phenomenal piece. Absolutely. I mean, if I could own a Bernie piece, it would definitely be a Swamp Thing, and you would hope that it would be from the right era. And that one certainly is from 1972. So huge congratulations to Rick on that pickup, and to all the people who got into that category. So yes, of course, Wrightson wins. So that's the thing. Remember, we have to say sometimes certain artists or pieces are always going to be at the top, but that shouldn't discourage us from continuing to put our artwork into the best of. I mean, at the end of the day, those are the choice pieces that are collected out there. And so they're always going to command the most attention, especially if they haven't been seen in a while, that sort of thing. It's just how, when we look at a body of artworks, our attention is always going to kind of go to somebody who we consider a master. Not always. If you're a younger collector, you're going to probably look right past that, and you're going to look for the Gem of Food piece, right? Again, it's all back to who's voting, and what pieces have been chosen to participate in this. I mean, there's a lot of great artwork added to CAF that collectors don't even put into this competition. So, it's, it is how it is. Yes, the right stuff. Don't be discouraged forever, Sam. We got to have a pep talk one of these days. So, as Wes said, his right's in the best. That's right, son. He really is. But again, it's all about participation here, everybody. Again, it's a celebration of us collecting. If I go back and play the intro video, I didn't put any winners in that video. I actually kind of strolled through all 1,700 pieces, and I just found random pieces that I thought best exemplified pieces that are posted to CAF every day. And I'll probably play it again at the end. But really, that's what I was looking for. Was I want to be able to see the convention sketches that aren't going to get the same attention. I mean, CAF was built. I mean, we've talked about this, in different ways at different times. But the reason I built CAF with Maureen, I always say but it was really Maureen and Chris Haggard with my ideas behind it. But the whole reason was because the old Longbox site with the 5 pieces, it limited our ability to share artwork. And people would only typically show their 5 best pieces or the 5 pieces they were trying to sell. Very few collectors rotated their 5 pieces out to, say, one day feature pieces from the 70s and switch to the 80s or 90s. They hadn't, some guys did, but back then there was probably only like 300 or 400 people participating in it, if that. I mean, it might have been 5, but I don't think so. And but that limiting factor, that 5 pieces of art was what drove me to build CAF, because I was like, I want to see all the convention sketches. I want to see all the pieces that they don't think are valuable enough to show as their 5 pieces of artwork. So, as collectors, we should never feel discouraged by the pieces that we have as they measure up against these other pieces that are done by masters that we can't afford. So, I want the best of to be a celebration of that. And we talked about, and I'm not going to, we'll talk more about it on Thursday, but we talked about those refinements, being able to set purchase price values on certain things, so you can refine a cover that cost $1,000 versus one that cost over 50, right? If you can refine the results, I mean, I'm still going to show you who won overall, but it would be pretty cool to be looking at these results lists to see whether it's by era or by price, which pieces got the most votes, because I think it's a more fun way to look at the overall votes. I think it'll make it more, amusing and enjoyable for us all to see, that pieces that maybe look like they didn't get a lot of votes in the overall scheme of things actually won for a particular category, whether a convention sketch priced under $500, right? I mean, I'd love to see just that set of results and which pieces got voted on. So that's why we need to enhance this whole best of process to make it more inclusive, not just about the greatest pieces that are out there. We're going to work on that, and I guarantee you that the next best of will have enough bells, whistles, and wrinkles built into it, such that I think it will be the participation level should be much higher. So where is Halperin next? Okay, I'll shut up. I told you I wanted to talk about more about that on Thursday. 2 categories to go. Next up, this one had 1 piece less than the other highest category. This is the commissions and recreations category. Got 350 pieces of art submitted to it. So it made for a really, really difficult voting decision here. The top vote getter in this category only got 30 votes. That's how spread out in the commissions and recreations category the votes were in this one. So, but that's good. It's absolutely good. There wasn't a piece that got 90 votes and the next one only getting 30. So top vote getter in this one only got 30. But here are the top 5 pieces from the commissions and recreations category. First up in the collection of RS-88 is this amazing Cosmic Tea Mega Party by Claudio Castellini. Love that one. And in Khalil Giron's collection, this Daniel Moonstar piece by Danny, no less. This is just a phenomenal artwork, and congratulations, Khalil. Next up in Eric Wenger's collection, this Daniel Warren Johnson masterpiece of Spider-Man in New York. Love that one. We've all talked about that piece numerous times. Next up, Aranga. You are in the top 5 with this incredible Hulk Dale Keown piece. Congratulations. I know that you wrote in your description it's a grail, and it would be a grail in most people's collection. And finally, Ron Lim, this late season pickup from Walt Simonson, Beta Ray Bill Commission, another fantastic piece, cover worthy, of course, like all of these pieces, but only one can win. And the top vote getter in this category for 2021 is the Walt Simonson Beta Ray Bill Commission in the collection of Ron Lim. Congratulations, Ron. This is well-deserved. And, I've always been a huge fan of Walt Simonson, and I'm very jealous of seeing that piece in your collection, but I'm so glad you shared it on CAF. And I am, so proud of the fact that that was the winning entry in the commissions and recreations category this year. So high five, Ron. Yeah, you definitely earned it. And, heartfelt gratitude that you continue to share so much of your collection and your time with us on the site. Hey, hey, wait a minute. That was supposed to be after the show, Ron, not during the show. Yes, but huge piece right there. I mean, we all know, Walt doesn't do too many of those annually, and just to get one of that caliber, absolutely amazing. So if I ever get a Walt Simonson piece, I hope it looks just like that one. But yeah, there you go. Even Ruben has just said, not just the best Simonson Beta Ray Bill of 2021, but of all time. It really is, it really is one of the best. So, I mean, I cannot disagree with Ruben on that one at all. So the final category of the evening is the cover category. And this one was actually really, really close. There were 3 pieces that were neck and neck for the last, say, 36 hours. And I made a plea to everybody last night to throw some votes in there. And during the show, and I watched the votes kind of change, and it bounced around a few times, changing who was in the lead on that one. And we have a clear winner now. Very close though. So I want to show this is the one where I need that some drums going on or something, right? We need some kind of melody, music, some excitement, some anticipation. But here are the top 5 vote getters in the cover category. And we start off with Glenn Crane's amazing Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing cover, issue number 4. I mean, just a fantastic piece. Glenn's got an incredible collection, and that's added to it. Kevin Boyd, we were emailing earlier today. This is Detective Comics 590, and of course by Norm Brayfogle, one of the most popular pieces on CAF last year. Amir E. This is by Frank Miller, Daredevil 170 cover from 1981. I mean, what an amazing cover. Harkens back to the golden era of comics. Next up, this piece by Jim Steranko. It's the cover to X-Men 50 in the collection of James Halperin. Another, I mean, who wouldn't want that one in their collection? And then finally, in the collection of RS-88, again, this is by Simon Bisley. This was the cover to Lobo #1 from 1990. All 5 pieces deserve to win. All 5 pieces should win, but only one artwork can win. And that winner tonight is James Halperin with this X-Men 50 Jim Steranko cover. So, I mean, on that one, I bet you if we look at the top 10 vote getters, any one of them would deserve to have won. But Jim Halperin scored 75 votes on that piece. Glenn Crane had 73 votes on their Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing cover #4. And RS-88 got 71 votes as the final tally to round out the top 3 in that category. So very, well-deserved by James, but any piece that was shown right there deserved to win. Glenn's Bernie Wrightson is just simply amazing. Would be the cornerstone of pretty much anybody's collection, no matter what level of a collector you're at. So there you have it. The 10 categories. Yeah, Kevin, yes, I'm glad you're here. We will be, I'll be emailing you later this week, that summary, I promise. But yes, it was now you know why he sponsored. No, he did not have it. The voting wasn't done. He committed over a week ago after my last plea. But yeah, no, the Steranko piece was great. The Wrightson piece was great. The Bisley piece was historic for many reasons. I mean, it was one of those impactful sales of the year, so newsworthy. But RS-88, man, I mean, that's, if you're a Bisley fan and a Lobo fan, I mean, what more could you ask for in your collection? So again, that was just really amazing turnout in the cover category. And again, I mean, I'm actually going to get the link now. I'm going to copy it and put it into the chat link here for everybody. So anybody who wants to maybe browse that while we're talking, of course, you can do it after the show too. But that page right there will guide you into all of the top pieces that were voted on in the top 10 categories. And I know you were kidding, Ruben. I know. But yeah, so it's an amazing year, right? I mean, that's why I really did feel it was kind of fitting for Heritage to sponsor the show tonight, just because they probably supplied a few of the pieces that wound up in the best of, and it's quite appropriate that they chose to sponsor it. And I think I hope as we expand the show that they continue to support it, because we're going to need more support if we're going to have to make more trophies. So yes, that Lobo Grail, exactly. So how many people voted? Mark, I'll tell you what, I don't have those numbers today, but I'll do a lot of metrics and things on Thursday so we can review how many people cast votes, how many members posted artwork, and just kind of break things down, because again, this is all about participation. I want to grow the number of submissions. I mean, next year we got to be over 2,000. Almost 1,700 is good. 2,000 is better. And then the following year, I'd want 2,500. We should be exponentially growing the number of people who are submitting artwork and the artwork submitted into the competition, but also the the number of people who are actually taking the time to cast votes as well. So it's not an easy task, especially when you have as many categories as we do, and and with so much great art, it takes a lot of time. I mean, when you have to look at 332 covers to figure out which 5 you want to cast your vote for, it's not an easy process. I mean, we've made it easier so you can hit that category, favorite your top 20, come back the next day and whittle that 20 down to 10, and come back 3 days later and choose your top 5 and cast your vote. But it still takes time, and it takes commitment, and it takes a passion and desire to be a part of this hobby. And at the end of the day, I think it's our fellowship that makes this hobby great. I think we've seen that that this channel has helped me realize that that's one of the most important parts of this hobby. And so I guess as a segue, that kind of works out, because let me bring Mikhail in here, who is dressed much better than I am. Good evening, Mikhail. Nice to see you. You're on mute. Here, you want to unmute yourself, and I'll.
Good evening.
Hey, if I need somebody to conduct a number, you are on the list. But man, I've got to get that. I got to.
You just moved. Your stuff's all over the place. It's okay.
Well, I haven't moved yet. I've started packing though. But the tux, I don't own a tux. But welcome, Mikhail. I mean, Mikhail, we're going to talk a lot more Thursday. But one of the things that Mikhail approached me about, it was probably like 6-8 weeks ago, and suggested that when we do the best of, that we should try to expand the awards beyond just the artworks that are there and really kind of tackle things about people who are participating on CAF, in different ways, whether they're posting artwork or posting comments or liking art, again, or sharing art. We were talking about finding ways to just show our appreciation for the fact that people really appreciate CAF and the ways in which they interact with it. I mean, I'll let you kind of take it from there, Mikhail, because a lot of these thoughts came direct from you, and I'm just running with them.
No, I think all of us are, first of all, so cognizant of the fact that the community has really come together in the last year. Thanks to you for giving us a platform, but also realizing that now that we're connected, things can be so much better. We can communicate more efficiently. We can cut out the BS more efficiently, and also talk about all these incredible things that are happening constantly. I think if we didn't have someone to speak to or contextualize a $3.6 million sale, we'd go crazy.
It's true.
We'd all be wearing tin hats and sitting in the basement, like wondering what's happening. Instead, we have this platform where everyone's engaging, and I think I'm so happy and proud and pleased to be a part of a hobby that's evolving and growing and changing. And for example, I want everyone to be on CAF, and like you realize, the 40% of people who aren't engaging with CAF but who have accounts or who aren't actively engaging, right? We need to draw them in. We need to draw new people in, not just because I want to force anyone into it, just because we know that's where the hobby is going, borne out by the prices, etc. And also to engage the artists. I think that's such an important part of our hobby. We can't exist like this, completely dependent on the work from these amazing people and not acknowledge them or include them, especially if they want to engage and participate. I think it's so amazing that Sean Gordon-Murphy has been popping into the chat and engaging.
Oh yeah. I got emailed by him today too. He wants to do a show, so I'm going to have him on probably later in the month. I completely agree. It's humbling to see that happen, and I think we're finally getting that point where we're getting noticed, and I think it's a wonderful time to be involved with the community as we are today on the channel. I wholeheartedly agree, Mikhail.
And then the second point I wanted to try and kind of get to is just that there are so many categories that we could create, and I think we'll speak more to that on Thursday in terms of the metrics that we can pull. But I think all of us would love to reward or award the artists of the year in different categories. To recognize the different craftsmen and artists who are involved in this process: the letterers, the inkers, the colorists. There's no reason why we can't have a voice in things like that. It's not the sole domain of the Eisners or the Ringos or anything like that. We're appreciating the art in our own way, and I think the more we engage the artists themselves, the better it'll be for the community.
I completely agree, and so where we're going with this is, we'd like to be able to acknowledge younger or newer creators in the hobby, established creators, and use some CAF metrics in order to do that, but also encourage us to kind of step outside of CAF a bit and vote on certain things. And so that's where we want to see the best of evolve. We want it to become we want it to branch out. And I hope by doing that, it will draw more attention to the hobby, and people will actually get to see what an engaging and fun place this really is. It's unlike pretty much any other collectible hobby that's out there, and we can be kind of the conduit to bring newer people into the hobby if we expand the best of and just try to do more outreach to like you said, celebrate different things that we normally you think you need to leave that to other entities that are out there. We can play a part in that just as important a role, I think, as the well-established places. And just because, again, it's back to the more opportunity that's out there to promote the arts and this hobby that we love. I think is good. It's a great thing. And so that's why next year and where we move this is going to be really important, but I'm looking forward to how we expand things. And I'm looking forward to working more with you, Mikhail, on doing that, because I value your advice.
I appreciate that, Bill, and it's just the whole community. We want to talk about and we've also now got the ability to look beyond U.S. borders, right? And I love the things that you're doing with Jiggy and bringing artists from that part of the world into the community, and we have so many artists from Brazil, from South America, from Asia who are doing amazing work, who aren't connected into CAF the same way. The way I think about it, when you go to an artist alley, artist alley at a major con should be so tied into CAF because it's exactly the same thing.
Sure.
And yet that crossover probably in the metrics is not there at all in terms of the artists coming to solicit commissions or to show off their work or to post their work. Instagram's a powerful tool, and I think what happens is people diversify away and kind of use Instagram and then do their kind of CAF postings. But I just want to see that all come together and have a forum where everyone can talk about it and just enjoy exploring what can be done in this hobby. I
agree. And I think there's enhancements to CAF that can help make some of those things easier. And we need to expand. We need to do a bit more work on CAF. And I know I talk about it. Seems like I talk about it at the beginning of every year, but hopefully this is the year that I'm able to act on it.
I think that every year you make, even the fact that you're open to it is incredible in the first place. That you are so open to the community and you're so willing to grow CAF in the direction that you feel the community wants it to go in, but also the right direction for it. And I think that's a testament to you. Some people have a website and it just doesn't change, and so it's nice to be proactive. Yeah.
Right.
And all of the charitable endeavors that we've had as well. That makes me proud to be in the hobby as well, to support Felix's foundation and upcoming show for Anthony's charity. So just things like that. There's so much we can do.
Agreed.
Because we're all very fortunate, right, in this hobby for the most part.
Without question, and right, we're just scratching the surface of things here. But so we do have some awards to give out tonight. The three that we have, might look at them and just say, oh, they're just boring CAF metrics. But at the end of the day, they're CAF metrics nonetheless, and they're what we're easily. When Mikhail gave me a list, he had about 10 things on the list, and I looked at it and I said, I know I can get 3, maybe I can get 5 or 6. I showed it to Maureen and she's like, I can't get any of that data. And so, but that's not true. She didn't say she could get any, but the thing is we would need to structure some things to get that data out better. And it was just not something that she felt she could tackle all of those things. But so 3 of the items on your list, we were able to extract. And so those are the awards that we were going to present tonight. So these are just kind of outside of the best ofs, but it's awards more about participation and being a part of the community. And so let me pull up the first award here. And this is going to be for the most commented artwork that was added in the year 2021. And there's many that were out there. Plenty of them had very close numbers to this one, but this one stood out very, very, very distinctly from the pack. And so the most commented artwork in 2021 that was added to CAF was the cover to X-Men 131 in the collection of Bill J. John Byrne artwork, of course. 96 comments posted to this artwork. It was probably, I believe, added near the beginning of the year, so that probably helped it to get as many comments as it got. But many other pieces were really close to that. The Lobo piece had 93 comments. Gosh, if I look at the list, Frederick Lorge had 2 pieces that had 86 and 85 comments apiece. So what was it? The Alien versus Predator cover by Magnola. So lots and lots of people out there commenting on pieces, and that's just a great part of the hobby. We talked about participation and commenting on artwork. We always say that a comment is really a great way of acknowledging a great addition to someone's CAF gallery and to CAF in general. So we always encourage people to do that. But, the John Byrne piece certainly was deserving. And that was one of the metrics that I was able to extract out of there. And so Bill J will be getting a trophy as well, because we're going to give out, I actually had a couple extras printed here. I wanted to actually see if I could share Bill's CAF gallery to everybody too, since that's really what.
And I think Bill's well on his way towards another victory in 2022.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I posted a link to Bill's CAF gallery in the chat as well, and lots of people are agreeing that did Bill J get the top 5 commented art? Top number 1 actually with that cover. So, but some of the things that we couldn't do that I think Mikhail, we were trying to look at was most comments even on an overall gallery. So not just a piece, but whose CAF gallery, actually got the most comments overall for all the pieces that were there. That was a piece of data that Maureen didn't think she could extract in time, for this awards presentation tonight. But it's a way where we can take the best of beyond these submitted works and look at CAF as a community and how we all interact on it and with it and with each other to acknowledge and award people for putting up great artwork and just being a participant.
I think the other quick thing I wanted to say about
Sure.
the best ofs that we've seen so far is I saw so many great pieces in all price ranges. It wasn't that it had to be, a 5-figure piece or even a 4-figure piece. And I saw some collections and, just to give a shout out to, Iranga had pieces, multiple pieces that I liked. And Matt Todd didn't make it into any of the top 5, but I thought he had such a fantastic selection of pieces up, from con commissions and just, kind of simpler pieces that were just brilliant. That Stealth Freeze that he put up was I can't believe that didn't make it into the top 5. But so I just want to say that there's so many ways to approach this. It doesn't have to be. It's not a money bag game. It's an art game and it's an appreciation game and it's engaging with the community that I want to reward and appreciate.
Well, we're going to do more of that. And Maureen's game for almost anything we can throw at her. We just need to throw it at her around November so she can write up all the queries into the database. But we'll be able to add more to that next year. So the second to last one that we've got was the most artwork added to CAF by a collector. Now, we know a lot of dealers and reps use the site. So it took a little while to extract the data and then figure out who's actually using the site to sell versus the site to collect. But we did have one clear,
intrepid, incredibly persistent
yes,
collector.
I mean, it was really interesting to run reports to actually see how much artwork is getting added by individual collectors. Now I know who's using the site a lot. You actually you were actually you were like number 17
in the top 20, I think.
You were in the top 20, but
and I won't have a year like that again. So this person who is more than double, I believe, what I posted is truly incredible.
Yes, without question. So I actually have the total piece count on this little piece to present here. So I will show that. This is the most artwork added by a member of CAF in 2021. And that honor goes to someone who goes by the name Art Hunt, or Art Hunter, as their CAF gallery's name. They've been a member since 2008, and they uploaded 816 artworks to CAF in that calendar year. And I believe, I took a quick look at their gallery. They have over 8,000 artworks in their CAF. So thank goodness they're premium, because that's a lot of artwork they have on CAF. But at the end of the day, I mean, and they've been there for so long. So Art Hunter's been posting a lot year in and year out. And I know that's their AKA. I do know who that collector is. So I'll definitely be sending them a trophy and reaching out to them. But yeah, it was really close. I mean, there were a lot of the top 2 posters in the CAF were dealers. Kirskiro was number 1, and then there was a gallery in Europe that was number 2. Kirk Dilbeck was up there. But after them, Nick Katratis, who, I know we can think of him as he does sell a little bit, but he really, by and large, is just a collector. He posted 665 artworks to CAF last year. And so he would be the second highest collector. And Paper Chaser 1968 just became a CAF member. So it seemed like they opened the floodgates. They created a CAF account and posted 545 artworks last year. So, you never really know. It's not
That's
always...
what you love to see, right? You still love to see people coming in.
Without question. Yes. And
coming out of the cold. Guys, coming out of the cold.
And a lot of familiar names were in that top 20 list. Scott Spilkey, Paul Tobin, Mick Spidey fan, 436 artworks. Way to go, Scott. Dan Moeller, Carl Choi was in there at 398. Roger Clark, 388. Nick F, Monty B. So yeah, a lot of people who've been on the site a long time, still actively engaging and sharing their collections. And that's why, an award for this is really important, because if you guys stop sharing, there's no reason for anybody to come back to CAF, right? I mean, so we need people to continue to use CAF. If scan that Fred Hembeck, card art and put it on CAF. We want to see it all. Don't hold back. I mean, that's why we built CAF, and it's always been unlimited to all the uploads and everything. So I think this, just having an award for this is important. It's not. It just shows.
I'd love to see it.
Exactly. So yeah, that one took a little bit of work, but we were able to get that data. Now I've already seen some people commenting in the chat.
They guessed it. They guessed it.
They guessed it. Yeah, this was an easy one for us to do. Easy one for Maureen to do, and probably was the first query that she ran. But this is going to go an award to the person who has made the most comments by a CAF member in the year 2021. And I bet nobody. I mean, before we even do this, we don't even say who it is. But can you guess how many comments the top commenter had in 2021? Just, I'll give you just 10 seconds for everybody. You can put it in the chat. Mikhail, what do you think that that count would be?
I'd go with 30 a day, so 9,000.
You would be wrong. You would be very wrong. 10K. Well, it's getting a little closer, Jeff. 2,000. Sorry, Dino. Nope. All right, let us go ahead and bestow this award to the person who made the most comments on artwork in the year 2021. Guess who that might be. There is no competition.
Oh my goodness,
Marcus Way, member since 2005. 18,000. 277 comments in 2021. I want to know how many he's made in his lifetime, but I mean, he has to account. We already know we crossed the 1 million mark in comments earlier in the year. Marcus, you got to be responsible for at least 10% of those. So this is we decided, Mikhail and I were talking about, we were like, how do we do this? Marcus is going to win this every year. So we decided that this is kind of a lifetime award. You get this award, Marcus, and then next year it will be somebody else's. Whoever's the second most, maybe somebody will surpass you. We never know. You can't tell year to year how those things will go. But the thing is,
I don't think anyone's going to surpass Marcus. And we're going to put in, it's not going to be like, I'm sorry, Baller, it can't be Baller. It has, right. Marcus writes songs for us. I mean, no one's going to beat this. And no. I raise a glass to Marcus, because he's been he's like the silent backbone holding us all together, right? He's there.
And he does it here too. If I look at Battistimo's overall stats, I mean, he's number one by double. Anyone else. I mean, actually, Nick Barucci is very, very close to him in like the way the Battistimo has the counts, but as are you. But he leads the pack there. So congratulations, Marcus. Well deserved. But I did want to highlight other people, because even in the top 20, the lowest person in the list was you, Mikhail, believe it or not, with 1,135. So between those, Khalil was actually the number 2 commenter. Just under 3,000. Bill J next. I mean, I think that's been mentioned here.
So wait, number 1 was 18,000 and number 2 was 3,000.
2,855 to be exact. So somewhere between it's like 80. Marcus blows them away by 84%. I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to do the math right now, but yeah, that's the disparity between number 2 and number 1 in the most comments category. But Bill J. Next, just under 24, John C. Ruben spends a lot of time on CAF commenting on artwork. He has always been a loud voice for that. I appreciate that, Ruben. You were 5th with almost 2,100. West in the chat all the time, just under 2,100. Artless Artmore, Kent Mansley, Michael McIsaac, Peter Sullivan, Dave W., David Matheny, Eric DLS, who doesn't participate a lot in our live stuff, but he's been a huge supporter of CAF over the years and comments all the time. James as well. James, 1,200 comments, my friend. I
think Margaret's onto something.
Oh, wait a minute. Marcus is secretly 3 people. I don't know. Yeah, that's in a trench coat on top of everything else. Yeah, that's very, very true. I don't know how he does it.
And, but it's amazing, right, Bill? You read this list of names, and this more so than any other category is people that we all know, because they've all touched our collections. And I really appreciate the time and effort. And no knock against Baller. I mean, I love Baller. I value every dollar I get. But every time someone takes the time to look at a piece and to respond to it, I really appreciate it, and I know everyone else out there really does too.
Oh, without question. I mean, when you get an announcement that you had a comment from Marcus, that's one that you read right away. I don't always follow those emails immediately, but when I get one from Marcus, you got to read it, because you don't know, like you said, whether it's going to be a song, a limerick, or or just a thoughtful observation right on what the artwork in general. But yeah, Marcus, thank you so much.
And also the knowledge that he brings. He has such a depth of experience in behind the scenes of original art. I love getting those nuggets.
I completely agree. So yeah, so that's where we're at. We're going to talk more about this on Thursday as well. Mikhail will join me on the CAF update, but we hope to kind of flesh this out a bit more and give you some of our thoughts on where we'd like to take giving out awards based on CAF and then other things as well. There's plenty of opportunity, but again, we want to reward people for their love of the hobby and the time that they put to making CAF relevant, Comic Art Live as a chat and live stream relevant. I mean, it's just all about overall participation and the joy that we want to just acknowledge it. I mean, Marcus has been a big part of. I mean, I look back on it, and I've been seeing Marcus's comments for so long, and it took these last couple of years to realize how important Marcus is to the overall ecosystem that's CAF and pretty much everything I work on. So, I mean, I owe a debt of gratitude to him and everybody who participates in these things in that way. And I can't tell you how grateful.
Well, I think we're going to be able to start to acknowledge some of these unsung heroes going forward, right? Exactly.
So those are the three. Now, as we know, we're all getting together because this is also CAF's 19th birthday. February 1st, 2003 was the day that Maureen and I and Chris kind of rolled CAF out to the world, and we didn't have there was no fanfare at all when we did it. I mean, we kind of enlisted the help of some people who were on the Comic Art L back then, that mailing list that is still out there and has peaks and valleys as far as participation, but back then that's all we had, and so I had about 200 willing participants to kind of make CAF become what it is today. But we certainly didn't have any aspirations for it being anything other than a collector resource. I mean, at the end of the day, Chris and I were just art collectors wanting to get to know other people in the hobby, and this was our gateway to doing it. And I haven't taken a moment of this time that I've had in the hobby for granted. And the last couple of years have certainly shown me that CAF is a very worthwhile endeavor, and it definitely has a future in this hobby. No matter how it may evolve in the next couple of years or so. But hey, before we go any further with that, I did want to bring in two people who've been really, really integral to Comic Art Live's success and have been a big part of CAF as well for many years. And that is, let me bring them in here. I've got Mr. Barucci and James. Look at James, man.
So two quick things. First, okay. I thought if you voted for Jim Halperin, they were waiving the buyer's premium for a year. Wasn't that the deal?
It might have been.
Now,
I didn't read the fine print.
I was going to do the opposite of you and Mikhail right now. I was going to take my shirt off like Matthew McConaughey, but then you would lose the entire
We've got James to do that.
James, please do.
Well, I wasn't going to outdress Mikhail in full formal wear, so I figured a bathrobe. Let's kind of get this thing going.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Well, there you go.
No,
pajama pants on.
If I
wearing shorts,
all I want to know is if I was there with singles with Mikhail strip. That's all I want to know. Would it be?
No, I'm so expensive. Now you're throwing Watchmen pages at me. Watch how fast these pants go.
I love this community.
Indeed. So, you could have left the robe on, James, and we were all enjoying it.
What are you saying? No, I'm just
well, all right.
He's saying you look better than Hugh Jackman in that outfit. I mean,
I know he's lying.
Very, very true. Well, listen, guys. I mean, like I said before I brought you on here, I mean, both of you have been a really important part of the success we've had on Comic Art Live. I mean, you've been a huge asset to to everything that I've been working on. And that's why I was like, when we're doing this birthday celebration and everything, and just the whole best of celebration as well. I wanted you both to be a part of it because I feel like you've been. It's funny. I mean, I feel like Nick. Honestly, we didn't even start talking until the EXP rolled out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so we've literally only been talking for the last year, even though you've been on CAF forever, and I've known about you and your collection and everything. That's why it's so amazing where we've come as a hobby in the last, you could say 12 months or the last 24 months. But it is. And James, I mean, you've CAF for so long too. And until we did that interview, I didn't really know much about your collection, and so, and our friendship that's grown out of that. So we actually, when Mikhail and I were talking about, what we wanted to do tonight, I mean, Mikhail, I think I'm going to turn this over to you first. And, because we've actually wanted to bestow both of you a best of as well, because of all the work that you guys have done to make CAF and Comic Art Live so relevant. We had to have you on here. So Mikhail, why don't you tell James why we feel he's special?
Get ready, James. Get the lube out. I'm going to go to town.
It's heartfelt.
I think it's, Marcus has got his accolades. Now it's time for James to get his. And I think everyone in the community looks at you as that, snazzy newcomer with the highfalutin style and the easy grin, and you reach out and you talk to everyone and you get everything done. And taking the lead on the collector conversation, which is a show that honestly in the group everyone's still on a Sunday evening. I start to see these messages like, there's nothing to do. Where's my collector conversation? And James really spearheading that and taking the initiative and the work to get everyone involved, arranged and in line and in a productive way to make a show. I thought it was such a brilliant part of 2021, the whole CAF Live experience. And just beyond that, you being such a great advocate for CAF, for being such a great person to represent us to new collectors and old, and the selfless way in which you give your time to make connections and to bring people together. I think no one other than Marcus deserves this more so than you, and and Nick as well, who I'll leave Bill to laud.
And it's true. I remember that first conversation we had about the collector conversation, James, and I just knew. My gut, my heart told me that you were the right person to approach about that. And I can't really tell you why, but I just felt like you would do a great job at it, and you did. You exceeded my expectations, because I know how hard it is. It's hard enough to wrangle a single interview a week, but to bring 4 collectors together, or sometimes more, to host one of our interviews while I was on vacation, all those things, they take a lot of time, and it's a lot of effort. And it didn't go unnoticed. It didn't go unnoticed by anybody, because it's the one show that everybody sincerely misses. If I get it emailed more than once a week with people asking when we're going to start the collector conversations again, and it was a very important role. Just like Mikhail said, it's not only to inform collectors who've been in the hobby for a few years, about best practices and those sorts of things, but it was encouraging to bring new collectors in as well. I got more comments from new collectors who didn't even have a CAF, who were just saying they really appreciated the collector conversations and the format of it. And we do need to find ways to have the time to do more of that in the future, but it's not something that I would ever try to strong arm anyone or anybody. But the fact that you volunteered to tackle it meant a great deal to me, and it meant a great deal to everybody that's in the chat that have appeared on the channel, who have watched the shows silently and don't participate. Again, it was just, it really is a Herculean task, everyone. It's not easy.
And I think along with CAF and CAF Live on YouTube, hopefully we're soon going to enter phase 3, which is CAF IRL. And James is going to is amazing in person. So I look forward to all of us connecting with him at a con. He's going to lead the chants, the cheers. He's buying drinks for everyone all the time. Won't let you buy drinks. He insists.
Oh, that might make a dent in his DPS collecting, but
you guys, I've had the honor and the privilege of hanging out with him in person, and I think it's an experience everyone can look forward to?
Man, it's an ambush. Wasn't expecting. Well, I thank you. It's been a joy. It's been I didn't want to put myself on digital media. Figured it would get me out of a job interview in the future, but it hasn't been an awful disaster. But no, man, just bringing together, and we, just that community of alumni from that show still chat to this day, hundreds of chats a day sometimes. So they've kind of stuck together. But from my understanding, from conversations with Bill, like, it's not so much that you can host it, but that collectors can come together again and resurrect it and knock out a show or two or something where it fits in the scheduling. And Mikhail, I mean, you look at that, how you're dressed. I mean, you're just a host and in the flesh, right? So it's something that'll come back. But that being said, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I think you deserve it. I think Bill and I had no hesitations about bestowing this.
It's going to go right next to Iron Man. So
perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Done.
Well, all right. Well, yeah. Thanks again, James. I mean, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everything that you've done. So Nick, I should have just started taking notes when Mikhail was going through his speech as well, because for the same exact reasons. I mean, for me, you have been the biggest cheerleader in the chat. You've been, a patron to everything that I've done in so many ways. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, because, when we first started, I'll be honest, like I said, we didn't really start talking until the EXP came out. And I'll be honest, when you did that, I felt a little threatened. I was like, oh my gosh, who's this guy? He's gonna like try to take away my audience. I've been working the last year at this. And I was so glad that we had some early conversations about like what our goals were to do, between the XP and with what we were doing here on Comic Art Live. And I was like, damn, Nick's a great guy. And, I got to get you on a chat. We got to be talking more. And it's evolved into something where, like when we had me on the show the other day, we're very supportive of each other. And I think that's really the beauty of this hobby across the board. I mean, we're all in competition with one another one way or another, right? We're competing for art. We're competing for, you and I are competing for eyeballs. But the thing is, we want each other to always win and succeed. And you are the guy that I think exemplifies that. You talk to people on your show about, the best ways to approach the hobby and the best ways to, to not embarrass yourself here. And I just think that, you have a voice out there that's, very different than mine, James, Mikhail's, because you're in a position that, a lot of people respect. And yet you approach the hobby with a very
I don't get the respect. I don't get the respect.
You don't get the respect? Okay, well, that you should put on some
I'll
real
just
trousers.
jump in to say, as an outsider looking at you guys' relationship, I thought Nick was someone you paid money to, to give you thumbs up.
Right.
That's the impression I had as an outsider, just as someone who was so devoted to CAF and so willing to just create a positive atmosphere, right?
Right, and that's why, and Nick was doing that before, before we even really got to know one another too, Nick. I mean, you were in the chat long before the EXP rolled out, but I didn't really, we didn't know each other, and so I was like, oh, that's cool. Nick Ferrucci's, giving me the, the thumbs up and getting everybody, cheering him along. But that's just who you are, Nick. I mean, you're more about everyone winning and not just yourself. And I think that's really what makes a wonderful person. And it drew me to you the moment we first had those first couple conversations about what we both wanted to do in the certainly in this platform. But and then after we had our interview together, just all those things, just really you're an incredible guy. You've done so much for the hobby. I can't tell you. I mean, I think you've done more for it than I'll ever be able to, because you have a different platform, and because you support the arts too. I mean, you not just here in the chats, but just through your business. So at the end of the day, I wanted to thank you. I wanted to give you an award, as did Mikhail, because you have been an integral part to everything that we've done, to the success we've had. You continue to do it. I don't know when you sleep. I don't think you sleep, because you email me at 3 a.m. in the morning, and then you're back to emailing me again at 8 a.m. I don't know how you do it, because I can't do that. But you're just an incredible guy, and I'm so glad that we're friends, and I'm glad that you're a part of this the community and a part of things that we're doing here, and the things that you do on your side of the world. And I just want you to know that you'll always have my support whenever you need it. That I would be a part of any show or any endeavor that you will ever have, and I would support you wholeheartedly.
Thank you. God, I don't know what to say. That's that's something. If I don't know what to say, this is really, really kind of you. No, this community, I've said it before, um, and these guys exemplify that. Honestly, the the pandemic could have been deadly on a lot of levels when it came to original art, and I love original art. I love the community, and it makes it real easy when practically everybody I talk to, whether it's you or the few emails I've had with Mikhail. This is the first time I'm really interacting with James, but I appreciate everything James did. I would always watch the Sunday night chats on Monday, because Sunday's the night me and Pam spend watching TV together. That's our date night, is Sunday night. So I'd always watch it the next day, and it would always be fun. But getting to know you, I knew Berkey forever, and wow, I'm rambling. But just so many cool things, like Miguel, when we were doing the variant cover, saying we're going to buy this cover for Bill, and we're going to donate more money to the Hero Initiative. I mean, stuff like that just makes you so happy. And comic art has just, I look at comics, whether it's our comics or other comics, and you kind of see it with a different eye. God, I'm rambling. You said too many nice things. I want to run the other way. No, but the whole community's great, and it just, just makes it so much fun to just be a part of it. There's no bad eggs in this community. We all love each other. We all support each other. And I got to tell you, when I first saw CAF, I was like a kid in a candy store looking at everybody's art. I had to actually limit myself to 2 hours a day. I was like, I got to stop.
That first year is amazing, right?
Right, right. I'm like, okay, I can only look through X amount of pieces for Carmine Infantino today. I can only look through X amount of pieces of Frank Miller today. And it's like each creator, but I'm rambling. No, look, everybody's been fantastic, and I really believe we all complement each other, and that we support each other, and the hobby grows. I mean, to me, this hobby is incredible. I mean, I've loved comics since I was like 11 years old, and been very, I find myself blessed. I always count my blessings, and I don't know. Thank you. How about I shut up?
Thank you, Nick. I mean, you've been out there for over a year, cheerleading every show, and it's really impressive. It's a skill set I certainly don't have, and your cheerful enthusiasm is just always welcome.
Thank you.
Here. So thank you both. I mean, and and so again, so here we are. The show is wrapping up, everybody. It wasn't the Lifetime channel, not entirely, but that we had to do this, and I think we're going to do this every year. We're going to commiserate, and again, this is all about fellowship. I mentioned that at the beginning of the show. I think that
I know better this than us, bitching out.
Right. Well, it happens. That happens too, but
I hear that from my kids all day.
Right. So like I said at the beginning of things, I mean, I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I've had to be a part of this community. I'm even more grateful that I finally realized that, to take a more active role in the hobby. And I'm glad to have the three of you by my side, as well as so many else. I mean, so many other people I can credit. I mean, how many times has Dino been on any of the shows I've hosted? Jordan, all, whether it's a sales show or not. I mean, we've had so much fun together with so many different collectors that the Comic Art Live has been the place to hang out and enjoy our company. I appreciate a guy who I haven't really had on the show a lot, like Felix. He's been. I can't even begin to tell you how supportive he's been of everything that I've been doing the last few years as well. I mean, when we do talk, he's always encouraging and pushing, wanting to push this channel forward, CAF forward. Again, I've gotten support from so many different places. It's certainly made the last 19 years feel go by so quickly. But the thing is, I'm so excited about the next 19. You know, I mean, I know that this is going to be, the next few years are going to be really special. I want them to be special for everybody. And so yeah, it's CAF's birthday, 19 years old. I wish Maureen could be here to be with me.
I want to say
evening.
one thing. I want to say one thing.
What's that?
You and I touched on this about when you moved to Florida. So I know what we're all doing on February 1st, 2023. And maybe we're not doing it on the 1st. Maybe we're going to end up doing it on the 28th and 29th. But for the 20th anniversary, CAF Con Live in Florida. We're all going to fly to Florida. And
it's the place to be, right? I mean, at the end of the day, in Orlando.
No, we're going to have a convention. We're going to have CAF Con Live where we can all meet together. The pandemic should definitely be behind us.
It was only last night we heard you had an entertaining house, Bill.
That's true. I mean, I've got a lot of room for RVs. I mean, and as well, I guess if you want to drive down with that, we can work something out. But it's true. I mean, I do intend to be very much into having get-togethers, and I think that there's a lot of potential after I get down there and get a little bit settled. So I've got lots of ideas, everybody. But with regards to CAF and this channel, again, I can't thank everybody enough for being a part of it for all these years. Your support, even when I didn't know who all of you were. I mean, I always, Miguel, I know we never talk about it, but I remember the first time you and I ever emailed. I'm sure you remember it too. It was just one of those moments
I remember
that I will always cherish. And I didn't even know who you were. When you reminded me of that, it was like a couple years later. I was like, oh man, I'm so glad. We ended up where we ended up, Miguel. So I can't tell you how this hobby has just made my life all the better, and I continue to endeavor to make sure that it's a great place for us to enjoy the hobby, enjoy our fellowship with one another. And so, long live CAF. I mean, here's my toast. I'm gonna do my toast. You can toast with your diet, whatever you got there. I actually have some bourbon myself here, but so long live CAF. I mean, I want the fellowship to continue. I want the art sharing to continue. I want the best stuff to become better every single year. And I want it to continue for another 19 years. Oh, he's going to get his.
James, you suddenly look 15 years old.
Yes, you do.
Maybe 12.
I had a very Calvin and Hobbes kind of look for you, too.
So it's for the OnlyFans.
And Marcus says, out with the mini golf, in with the CAF.
Absolutely. The mini golf should be done by the end of February, everybody. So again, to CAF's future, to our friendship, and to this wonderful hobby that we love, that we will continue to make it a great place for new collectors and old. Thank you all to CAF. Long live CAF.
Yep.
Long live the community. And thank you, Bill, for pulling it all together.
That's my pleasure. Wow. I don't drink bourbon too often. Woo. All right. So guys, again, thank you for doing this. Like I said, awards are going to get mailed out. Well, no, Mikhail,
No, honestly, thank you, Bill. And I'm sorry that Brian couldn't be here as well, because I know that it's a child of his as well. So
exactly. Well, that's why he's going to be free on Thursday. So everybody will get to thank Brian, because Brian puts in a lot of effort into this. I know that it seems like I do all the work, but Brian does a lot of. He puts all the announcements out there. He really handles a lot, and it was really his baby for the longest time. I really let him, kind of run it and didn't take an active role in it. But Brian kept it alive. He wanted to keep the Lowry, as a relevant name, out there as it deserves to be. But I mean, it was really always important to him, when a lot of other people would have just said, screw it. We don't need it. And if he hadn't have done it, we wouldn't be where we're at today with it. So he really is an important part of these awards as well. So again, thank you everybody who contributed art to the best of, who hung out in the chat with us this long. I appreciate you all. James, Nick, Mikhail, again, you always got a place to stay in Florida once I get down there.
Thank you.
All right. If I'm going to call it a night, but you'll be seeing me many times in the weeks to come. But Mikhail, I look forward to talking more with you on Thursday. James, we will resurrect that something. I know, but I won't force you to be in charge of it. We'll work something out by committee. I think that's what we need to do. I mean, and you and I kind of talked about that too, trying to just help work something out that it's not always falling on one person's shoulders, and we can kind of craft the topics a bit better. I know we can do it again, and so I do hope that we resurrect it.
Yeah, I think that
Congrats to
comic is
all the
actually-
winners again. Such
Yeah, congrats to all the
amazing
winners.
artwork. It's a pleasure to see, really.
And I'll say this.
Happy
I
birthday,
mean,
Cap.
yeah, happy birthday, Kef. But
Happy birthday, Kef.
we're all winners because even just getting to vote and look at the art, when you're voting for the art, you see all the pieces you didn't see throughout the year that people. It's like, I can't believe I didn't see that. I can't believe I didn't see that. And you know, I will say that when you're showing the top 5 the way you did it tonight and pull it away,
Mhm.
it was like, oh God, I hope the Daredevil 170 wins. I hope you know, it really
That was fun. Yeah, I agree.
that made it so much like I'm literally cheering, like, please, the Frank Miller Daredevil, please win, please win. I mean, I'm glad James won. That was a beautiful cover too. But it's so funny how you can start rooting for, you know, it's like rooting for your favorite.
Well, that's
film.
what we wanted. I wanted to do with it. I had the idea after last year where I just showed one winner at a time. You know, this one won. This one won. We didn't talk about the other pieces, but I felt like, yeah, this feels like an awards presentation now when we're talking about the top 5. I wish I could do the top 10, but the screen's just not big enough to do that. So that's what we're going to stick with for a while. But
you know, if you're watching, think about what you want to see, and you know, hit us up on Thursday. Bring your ideas.
Exactly. All right, everybody. I'm calling it a night. I
Take
appreciate everything, and we'll have another great show again next year. And like somebody asked,
Sleep
is
tight,
doing dealers
everyone.
tomorrow? Of course, yeah, tomorrow and Thursday. So good night, and enjoy the rest of your evening.